Hello everybody and welcome to the military quarter. So the first pull, I'm just going to kill these Necro Knights first and kill the Shade. They do a bit of fire in Arcane, just be aware of that. Next pull, they're pulling back the Death Knights because they do a fear. Once the Death Knights are dead, they'll pull the Death Knight Champions, the spinny guys. You can disarm them and things like that, or maybe just have a lip ready in case you're in a bad position if you're going to stack and cleave them. But yeah, they just do a whirlwind spin, like a Scarlet Monastery warrior with a Ravager axe. You can pull them to the side if you want, or you can stack them for cleave. Completely up to you. But generally, with the ones that fear, they will pull them back just so you don't get unwanted packs. There are some other ads in here that will, the smaller ads, they can drop threat as well. Some of them sunder you as well. And on the left hand side of this room you can notice that there's some bone constructs. Try not to pull them if you can. They have a pretty large aggro range. They can be shackled if you do pull them, but it's generally not needed. Most people just try to avoid them. Now, over here, they're going to pull that caster and the two Shade of Naxx Ramises. You see that little guy in the cage over there? Just pause for a second. This guy right there. If you are looking at crafting frost resistance gear, that's the person who will train you if you have the reputation. So just move through these ads as best you can. Separate them if you need to. Alright, so you've seen most of the ads here. This is just a very heavy ad area, so I'll just move forward. You just pull them back and move your way through. The lower section, you've got some new mobs. You've got Cavaliers, Horse Riders and stuff like that, so you just want to take care of the big dudes and have off tanks pick up the other ads. So they're the ones that are dropping threat, by the way. See, I just dropped threat there. So kill the Horse Riders, and then soon you'll have a 3-pack of horses. These ones can be a little bit more dangerous because some of these horses can charge and one-shot you. I think also some of these mobs can be stunned, so try to utilize some stuns and stuff like that if you can. They put up curses, like curse auras and stuff like that, so you might be able to decurse. This is one of the more dangerous pulls, so Aura of Agony just went out on the raid. Can it be decursed? It looks like yeah, it might be able to. But yeah, try to kill those as soon as you can because the damage can kill some people. And just clear out the rest of these ads here. You need to clear them all, otherwise they'll pull with the boss when you try to pull the boss. We'll get in position for a pull. Okay, so Resuvius, the guy walking around with a skull in his head is Resuvius. These are his subjects that he's teaching, and we are going to have 2 priests mind control the ads one at a time and tank the boss with the ad that's being mind controlled. When a priest will mind control the ad, they're going to pop shield wall and taunt the boss and then just tank him line of sight. The shield wall needs to be up for you to be able to tank him, otherwise the ad will die. So they take turns, 1 priest at a time, and then they do a taunt swap. When there's about 5 seconds left on the shield wall or so, they'll come along and they'll change the ad over to a new ad. And while this is happening, we're basically just staying line of sight if we're casters and healers so we don't die to the shout that the boss does. So he's been pulled over into the corner. The DPS are just casually DPSing, trying not to pull threat. They've also booned their buffs, so they don't have wall buffs out. Because it's pretty easy to pull through it when you have wall buffs out in this fight. So the ads that are not being used for mind control are just stacked up here in this little section, so that way they can be plucked by a priest and then moved into the rotation. So there'll be a mind control rotation soon. Where, yeah, here we go. So that priest is mind control the square. He's moved over to the tank position. He's popped you a ball. He's about to taunt the boss. And then that triangle that was tanking is now loose. So a tank picks it up, and then they just hold it there. Quick note as well, if you are an off tank holding onto these ads, making sure they're not killing people, don't sunder them, because that means when they get mind controlled, they're going to be sundered and take more damage. So just no demo, no sunders. And if you're a mana user, make sure you're getting out for the shout. If you are a priest who's doing the mind control, it's extremely important that you don't have shadow prop buff on you, you don't have Mark of the Wild on you, and if you're wearing any gear that has shadow resist on it, take it off. Tier 2 is full of it. Tier 2 has so much shadow resist on it. You also need a little bit of hit for this as well. I've heard that if you are playing shadow or you have the shadow talents, you don't really need hit as well. You can just change to a shadow spec if you really wanted to. But 4% hit is enough from what I understand. And the other thing that I heard that might help you with the mind controlling aspect of things is a bit of spell penetration gear. It helps you hold on to the mind control a bit easier from what I've heard. If you don't have spell pen gear, sometimes the mind control can break early, and it's just a little bit of a problem sometimes if you're not prepared for it. But the main thing is, I don't know if it's a bug or whatever, but shadow resist does not go well in this fight, so please take it off. So once the boss dies, you are going to just clean up the ads and move on to the next section. Move on to the next set of ads. Here we are. So we have the unholy weapon. So this is an unholy staff. Unholy axe just died. There's also a sword. The sword and the axe, I believe, cleave and whirlwind and stuff like that. And the staff, frost novas and arcane explodes. So you can separate them if you want. I mean, too much AoE damage could kill your melee, so do what you want. And just slowly hug the left hand wall and pull safely to get through to the next boss. So we've cleared through to the next section. Now we've got Gothic the Harvester. Now this boss is it's a bit of a long fight. It's at least 4 minutes. You need to get through an add wave stage of 4 minutes. This is the live side, so basically the goal is to split the DPS evenly, so there's enough DPS to kill what's on the live side, but enough DPS to kill what's on the dead side, because anything that you kill on live then moves to the dead side and needs to be killed over there as well. So I'll go through some of the kill priorities and mechanics for this fight. I'll be on the live side as a caster. You generally will have one tank and one melee on the live side on each one of these points, and everyone else is like a ranged DPS or a healer. And you'll divide your healers evenly, of course. So 4 minutes, and then the boss will come down off his platform. Over here, you'll notice that most of them are grouped up over here, and you've got these bone piles on the ground. This is where the ads spawn from. So ads will spawn over at this end, in the middle, and on this bone pile here, 3 points. So if you have all your healers back here, they're going to get healing threat, and all of the ads that are spawning on bone piles are going to head towards the healers, and you can just pick them off as they're coming towards the healers. So as you can see, there's a bone pile there. Another one there. And there's the boss up there on the balcony. Okay, so on this side we have trainees, which are humanoids. Not too dangerous. We've got Death Knights that charge, that's why the pets are out, in case we want to eat a charge with our pet. And we also have the Riders. Now the Riders are the most dangerous ones. They spawn in this section. If you're on the live side and you see a Rider spawn, you kill it immediately. But you can get basically anything. The trainees and Death Knights spawn all across all three of these, but the middle is where the Riders spawn. So kill order is basically Rider when it's up, and then everything else for whenever you see it. You'll notice that there's waves. We're on wave 3 currently. It's phase 2 is in 3 minutes and 35 seconds, so 4 minutes until he comes down. Roughly around wave 11, if your DPS is not too strong, you can start to CC the mobs. The Death Knights that are spawning on this side can be shackled, and the trainees can be sheeted by a mage. 20 Warlocks, you do not dot on this side. If you're looking at doing CC, you're not dotting. You're only using Searing Pain or Shadow Bolt. And all these ads that are dead are now, their spirits are rising, and they're being moved to the undead side. As you can see, that their spirits just moving up. So it's going pretty well. The Riders, when they do spawn, they do a Shadow Aura and a Shadow Bolt volley. So you want to have them facing away. And I believe you can interrupt them as well. So another cool thing if you've got a melee willing to kick or a tank willing to kick. See if I can speed this up. That's basically all you'll need to know for now. Phase 2 in 21 seconds. He's going to get down in a second. When his health gets to 30%, the gates in the middle will open. But for now, he will come down off the balcony to the live side, and then after a certain amount of time, he will move to the undead side. But once he reaches 30%, it will open up the gate. If you leave this boss alive for too long, he will start doing a Shadow Aura and a decent amount of shadow damage across the entire raid. But yeah, if you can get through the ads, it's pretty much a cakewalk. And 30%, so the gate's opened, and we finish him off together. Nice and easy. We'll speed up through these ads. So be aware of the horse patrols in this area. But this trash is pretty straightforward. You've already seen this stuff before, if anything. You've seen the ghouls before. You've seen the gargoyles before. And the horse patrol is just a couple of Necro Knights and a horse. So you would kill the Necro Knights first and then kill the horse. And move your way slowly down to the 4 Horsemen room. Once you've killed the patrol, there's no more shadow damage, really. And there's generally never not going to be any more fire damage, so you can start pre-potting once this patrol is dead, if you don't pull the shadow ads. And they're avoidable, because they're in the middle. Alright. So, kill these ads, walk down, hug the wall, and make your way to 4 Horsemen. Slowly but surely. Now for the 4 Horsemen, you'll have tanks assigned to certain locations and healers assigned to a rotation. So the positioning for these bosses is that There'll be a boss tanked in each one of the 4 corners, because there's 4 bosses, 4 corners. We start the kill order on the side that we're currently on, so Thane and Mograine. Thane is a fire meteor boss that has a shield wall, and Mograine is another fire aura kind of boss with a decent amount of tank damage. I would recommend wearing a shield and disarming Mograine for this fight. But yeah, you pre-pop your fire and shadow protection potion, and everyone has basically a role and a job to do. So your raid leader will generally say rotate on 3 stacks for most classes, but it's different for healers and it's different for tanks for the most part. So for example, 4 bosses in 4 corners, each boss has an aura, and when you get to a certain amount of stacks of that aura, it does a large amount of shadow damage. So the higher the stack is, the more shadow damage amplifies each time that the new stack comes on. So that's why, just so the healing is manageable, they try to get the DPS to rotate on 3. But as you can see, we're picking up the ads and moving him to the 4 corners of the room. So Ziliek is going to the top right, Lady B is going to the top left, and we're starting on Thane. Now I'm in a bad position. I'm not stacked, so I have to move into a stack before the meteor comes. So meteor is about to come, and now that is soaked damage, soaked by the raid. So we're burning Thane, and we're about to hit Mark 2. So Mark 2 is about to hit. You can see I got 2 marks just up here. And if I got a 3rd mark, I would need to move out of this area. But he died, so I'm going to move out. Also, if they're dead, you can still get marks in the area, by the way. They keep giving you marks when they're dead. So don't just stand there and next to a dead horseman. You need to move out of the area. So we're moving over to Mograine, trying to get him down as soon as possible. First stack of this has come up. Now we're going to get him down as well. There is a safe spot that I can move to if I need to drop my stack. So I'll show you where that is in just a moment. We're coming up to Mark 6, so this will be the point where I'll get my 3rd mark and I'll need to move. But he's dead, so it's good timing. See where this fella here is just standing? That's the safe spot. So right there where I am right now, you're not being hit by marks, so the auras aren't hitting you in this particular position. So this is the safe spot, is what it's known as. So we've got Lady B over here in this corner, and void zones all around the floor. Don't stand in the void zones, just you'll die. So don't do that. So I'm going to come over here and start DPSing Lady B, and I'm going to go to 3 marks. Now, the tanks have got a set rotation, so they'll be like, I'm going to start on Lady B, and then I'm going to go to the save spot, and then I'm going to go to the other side. I'm not going to go straight back to Lady B, or they might have a rotation where they go from, maybe they take Lady B and they don't go to the save spot, they go to the other side. Your raid leader will generally tell you what side you're going to, but you until there's one ad left, as a tank, you generally don't run back to the same side that you're already on. And for healers, healers are a little bit more interesting. So it's a 12 healer fight, 3 healers on each of the 4 corners. So 3 are going to be in this area, 3 were over here before, and each corner has 3. Now, if we were to move all 3 of these healers to a different corner at the same time, there's going to be a window where that tank or these DPS that are in this area are not being healed. So to prevent people dying, we get the healers to do a different rotation. So one of the 3 healers in each of the corners will move on a different mark. So let's say that I was a healer and I started off on this corner. I would move to the next step in the next position in a clockwise rotation, so from the top left to the top right on mark 1. And I'd stay over there for 3 marks once I've moved. And then at the 4th mark, I'll move to the next location, and I'm just starting off at a different starting point to everyone else. So instead of me standing on the first place that I start and moving on 3, I move on 1. And you would also assign another healer to do the same thing, where they would move to the next position on 2. And then once they're in that new position, they do the normal 3 mark rotation. It's just their starting position is different. So in your stack of 3 healers on each corner, there'll be one moving on mark 1, and then there'll be another one moving on mark 2. And then once they've moved to their new location, they're doing the regular 3 marks. Oh, alright, so this is Lady B's position. I've got 2 marks now. When I get to 3, I need to rotate. Then I go over there and do some damage to Sir Zeliek. So when approaching Sir Zeliek, you need to be really careful that you don't link a holy chain to multiple people. So you may notice there's small stacks of people doing damage and healing. Just be very, very careful when you're moving. And with melee, there's generally only ever 1 to 2 melee DPSing in this section because the holy chain as well. It amplifies damage the more people it hits, kind of like Cthulhu's Beam. So you really don't want too many people stacked, otherwise you're just dead. Oh, that's the wrong way. So please make note of that. Range, avoid the healers when you're running back to the save spot. But yeah, this is 4 horsemen. As long as you move out on 3 marks and do your rotation as you're being assigned to do it, it's relatively easily fight. Just make sure that your healers are doing the right thing. Most of the wipes on this is going to be tank or healer based from not being in the right position. So just try your best and try to follow instructions. And that is the military quarter. And thanks for watching.